Do you know that the moment you stop thinking, the universe begins to speak? Yeah, sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools in your spiritual arsenal is not something you need to think about, but something you create with the mind's quietest whisper? Welcome to the mysterious world of sigil magic, a craft as ancient as the pyramids themselves, yet shockingly simple to practice. Now, I know what you're thinking, sigils. Is that some kind of witchy doodle? And I get it. You've probably seen a few symbols here and there, on a dark web forum, or maybe carved into a tree by an overly ambitious teenager. But let me tell you something, what we're about to dive into is far beyond just drawing cool shapes. This is the art of forging your intentions into reality with nothing more than your will and a pen. It's like the universe itself gave us a cheat code, and the only thing you need to do is press play. So, if you're curious to unlock the hidden power of these ancient symbols, hit that subscribe button. You're about to learn the first steps in creating your own sigils, tools of magic, crafted by your own hand, that can manifest your deepest desires. Stick with me, because this is going to be a wild ride. Let's travel back in time to the 16th century. In the heart of Europe, a man named John Dee, a scholar, magician, and astrologer, worked as an advisor to Queen Elizabeth I. He was not just a man of letters, he was a seeker of hidden knowledge, one who understood that words weren't the only form of communication. Dee, along with his companion Edward Kelly, used a system known as Enochian magic, a form of angelic communication. But here's the thing. Many of the sigils they used were not words at all. They were shapes, carefully crafted, intricate symbols that acted as keys to unlock forces beyond comprehension. Now, jump forward to the modern world, and you'll find that sigils have made a comeback, not just in mystical practices but in the realms of pop culture, art, and even psychology. The term sigil itself comes from the Latin word sigillum, meaning seal. These seals were used throughout history as powerful symbols of authority, protection, and manifestation. The famous occultist Austin Osman Spare brought sigil magic into the spotlight in the early 20th century. He simplified the process, creating a technique that combined the focused intent of the magician with the raw power of the subconscious mind. Spare believed that by creating a sigil, you could bypass the conscious mind's logical filters and speak directly to the subconscious, where true magic happens. According to him, a sigil was not just a symbol, but a conduit, a living form of energy that could bridge the gap between your desires and their manifestation in the physical world. So, why are these symbols so powerful? Well, it's all about intent. Throughout history, mystics, shamans, and spiritual practitioners from different cultures have used symbols to tap into universal forces, accessing realms beyond the physical. Whether it's the pentagram, the ankh, or even the Celtic knot, each of these symbols represents more than its shape. It embodies a force, a principle, a fundamental aspect of existence that, when invoked, aligns the practitioner with the flow of the universe. Sigil magic, at its core, is a fusion of these ancient secrets and modern psychology. The act of creating a sigil isn't just about drawing lines on paper, it's about embodying a force, one that exists both within and outside you, merging intention and energy into a singular moment of power. But how does this work, exactly? I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture a bolt of lightning striking the earth. For a fraction of a second, there's an intense burst of energy, a moment of pure potential. That energy is like the raw force of creation. But then, in an instant, it's gone, vanishing into the earth. What happens to it? It doesn't disappear. It transforms. Sigil magic works in a similar way. When you craft a sigil, you are directing your will into a pure form of energy. One that transcends time, space, and logic. But just like lightning, this energy needs a path, a conduit, something to focus it. And that's where the sigil itself comes in. The process begins with an intention. Perhaps you want to manifest more abundance, find love, or break free from fear. The intention is your spark, the lightning. But here's where most people go wrong. they think that the intention itself is enough. You need to do something with that spark. You need to shape it, condense it, and direct it. And that's what a sigil does. Let's break it down into steps, starting with the first core concept, reducing your intention into a symbol. You see, the power of sigils lies in their simplicity. The more complex your desire is, the more you risk overloading the sigil with unnecessary detail. Instead, focus on one singular desire. Let's say you want to manifest confidence. Write down a phrase or affirmation that captures the essence of this desire. Something like, I am confident. Now, here's the magic, remove all the vowels from the phrase. Yes, you heard that right. Take out the A, E, I, O, U. What you're left with is a series of consonants that represent the raw energy of your desire. For example, from I am confident, you're left with MCNFDT. The next step is to create a unique symbol using these letters. This is where you get creative. Combine, bend, twist, and mirror the letters until you form a shape that feels meaningful and strong to you. It could look like a complex geometric figure or a simple, flowing line, it doesn't matter. The goal is to focus on the feeling the symbol evokes, not its perfection. The more intuitive you are with this part, the better. Here's the thing, this symbol is not a mere design. It's not just a pretty picture to hang on your wall. No, this symbol is a representation of your will, a force you've condensed into a form that your subconscious mind can understand. The act of drawing and focusing on this sigil is like engraving your desire into the very fabric of your being. And this leads us to a critical second concept, the activation of the sigil. Creating the symbol is one part of the process. But to truly infuse it with power, you must enter a state of deep focus. This can be done through meditation, chanting, dancing, or even intense visualization. The key here is to empty your mind, reaching a point of ecstatic release where your desire becomes one with the sigil. You're not thinking about the outcome, you're feeling it. You're allowing the sigil to absorb your energy and your intent. This is where the magic truly begins. In that moment, the sigil becomes alive, it exists beyond the physical realm. And when you send it out into the universe, you've just created a conduit for manifestation, a bridge that connects your inner world with the outer. Now, there's an important principle here, forget the sigil. After you've created and activated it, let it go. Don't obsess over it or try to control how it manifests. In fact, the more you forget about it, the more powerful it becomes. You've released the energy, and now, it's time to trust the universe to do its part. One of the most profound concepts of sigil magic is the fusion of desire and detachment. You see, sigils are not about force. They are not about clinging desperately to an outcome. If you want something, truly want it, then you must first let go. Think about it, when you force a plant to grow, it stunts its natural ability to flourish. Similarly, when you overexert your will on a sigil, you smother it. The act of creation is only one part. The true power comes from detachment, from the willingness to release the energy into the unknown. So how do you ensure that your sigil's energy continues to work for you even after the initial activation? Here's where the concept of psychic entropy comes into play. When you focus on your desire too much, your mind becomes cluttered. You begin overthinking, trying to control the outcome, and this diminishes the force of your sigil. This is why, after creating and activating the sigil, you must forget about it, not in the sense of completely ignoring it, but rather by allowing the symbol to fade into your subconscious. Let it exist in the ether, knowing that you've set it in motion, and now you must trust in the unfolding. In fact, this act of forgetting is crucial to the practice. After you've activated your sigil, you might find yourself almost instinctively coming across signs and synchronicities related to your desire. These are not coincidences, they are the universe's subtle way of guiding you toward your goal. Often, sigils work behind the scenes, so to speak, aligning the energy in ways you can't always perceive immediately. Just as a seed must be buried in the soil to grow, your intention is planted in the subconscious and takes root in ways that defy linear thought. Another important aspect of sigil magic is the reinforcement of your personal energy field. When you create a sigil, you're not just making an image, you're imprinting a thought form into your auric field. Your aura, the energy field that surrounds you, reacts to this imprint. It's like the ripples in a pond after you throw a stone. Over time, the sigil's energy ripples through your consciousness, shifting your thoughts, actions, and behaviors in ways that align with the desire you've infused it with. But don't be mistaken, sigil magic is not about waiting for miracles to fall into your lap. It's about alignment. As you work with sigils, you'll notice that the world around you begins to shift subtly. Opportunities arise that you hadn't noticed before. People cross your path who can help you. Coincidences begin to feel purposeful. These are not signs of external magic working on you, they are the effects of your sigil shifting the fabric of your reality, tuning you into the frequency of your desire. Now, let's take a moment to consider the role of sacred geometry in sigil creation. While sigils are often simple, their geometric nature is far from random. Every line, curve, and angle carries a frequency, a vibration that can amplify the power of the sigil. The most common sigils feature circular or triangular patterns, shapes that represent wholeness, balance, and unity. These geometric forms are inherent to nature and resonate with the primal forces of creation. Incorporating sacred geometry into your sigil design can exponentially enhance its energy. A well-designed sigil using geometric principles can almost act as a beacon to draw your intention into manifestation. But there's a deeper secret to this. The energy of the sigil grows as you grow. This is a subtle, often overlooked aspect of sigil magic. The more you engage with the process, creating sigils, activating them, and seeing them work, the more attuned you become to the currents of the universe. In a way, you start to become the sigil. The act of repeatedly creating and charging sigils trains your mind, aligning your energies with the greater forces that govern reality. In this way, the sigil acts as both a tool and a reflection of your own spiritual evolution. Lastly, let's touch on a crucial part of the sigil process, empowerment through ritual. Creating a sigil is powerful on its own, but adding ritual to the process can amplify its effect. Ritual is not just about tradition, it's about creating sacred space, a space where your will can align with the energies of the universe. You can use candles, incense, music, or even the phases of the moon to set the tone for your sigil work. Ritual gives your sigil the respect and focus it deserves, allowing you to engage more deeply with the energetic forces at play. It's time to put this knowledge into action. Here's how you can begin. 1. Clarify your intention. The first step in creating a powerful sigil is to define your desire clearly. It's easy to get lost in vague notions like, I want to be happy, or, I want to be successful. These intentions, while noble, lack the focus that sigils thrive on. Your intention must be specific, direct, and emotionally charged. For example, instead of, I want to be confident, narrow it down to, I am confident in social situations, or, I confidently express my truth. The more specific you can get, the more power the sigil will have. And here's a secret, it's okay to focus on small, specific desires at first. These are the training grounds for working with larger goals. Mastering small manifestations will teach you how to work with energy, and when you're ready, you'll be able to tackle bigger desires with ease. 2. Design your sigil. Once you have a clear, concise intention, it's time to create your sigil. As we discussed earlier, this involves writing your phrase, removing the vowels, and condensing the remaining letters into a symbol. However, here are a few tips to make your sigil even more effective. Incorporate sacred geometry. Use shapes like circles, triangles, or spirals to structure your sigil. These geometric forms are aligned with the natural patterns of the universe and can enhance the sigil's resonance with your intention. Use your body. When drawing your sigil, consider doing so with your non-dominant hand. This taps into the subconscious mind more directly, bypassing the logical filters of the conscious mind. Infuse it with emotion. When you're designing the symbol, don't just draw. It's crucial that you feel the emotion behind your desire. Connect with the essence of your intention as you create the sigil, letting the energy flow through your hand and into the symbol. 3. Activate the sigil. Now comes the moment of power, activating the sigil. As we've already touched on, this involves entering a state of deep focus where your mind is clear, and your desire is distilled into pure energy. Here are some methods to enhance this process. Meditation. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Focus on your breathing until your mind becomes calm. Hold your sigil in front of you, either in your hands or in your mind's eye, and visualize it glowing with energy. See your desire coming to fruition as you concentrate on the sigil. Let the emotional charge build to a peak, and at the height of this intensity, release it into the symbol. Ecstatic techniques. Some prefer a more intense activation, dancing, chanting, or even using breathwork to raise the energy. The key here is to generate a state of emotional release, where you can let go of the desire and allow the sigil to carry it forward. This is where the act of forgetting begins. Once activated, let go of the outcome and trust the process. Focusing with sound. You can also use sound to activate your sigil. By playing an instrument, singing, or even chanting specific mantras, you align the sigil's frequency with the sound vibrations, allowing the energy to magnify. Music and vibrations are powerful allies in this process. 4. Forget and let the universe work. The most powerful part of sigil magic comes after the activation. Once you've charged your sigil, you must let it go. This is where the true mastery of the practice lies. Often, people fail at this step because they become fixated on when or how their desires will manifest. Your job, once the sigil is activated, is to release the energy and trust that it will work in the background of your life. This is why the sigil's power is often so subtle. You don't always see its effects immediately, but the energy you've released is actively shifting things beneath the surface. Let it go from your conscious mind. Don't sit there obsessing over it. Instead, you might want to engage in an activity that takes your mind off your desire. This is where the process of forgetting comes in. The more you let go, the more power the sigil will have to act on your behalf. Observe the signs. Pay attention to the synchronicities, the small nudges, and the seemingly coincidental occurrences in your life. These are the subtle workings of your sigil manifesting, guiding you toward the outcome. 5. Reinforce and adapt. Sometimes, the first sigil doesn't work as powerfully as you expected. But don't be discouraged. Sigil magic is a tool, not a formula. It's important to revisit and refine your technique. If your initial sigil doesn't seem to be working, try these adjustments. Change the design, tweak the symbol, add more detail, or simplify it. Often, a minor change can unlock a greater connection to your desire. Repetition. The more you work with sigils, the better you'll become at tuning into their power. Over time, you'll develop an intuitive sense of which sigils resonate best with you. Work with rituals. If you haven't already, consider incorporating rituals, like moon phases or elemental correspondences, into your sigil work. Rituals can imbue your sigil with additional layers of energy. In sigil magic, you've learned to channel your intent into symbols that transcend the ordinary. By defining a clear desire, crafting a unique sigil, activating it through focus, and then releasing it, you tap into an ancient, powerful practice. Remember, the true power lies in trust. Once activated, let go and allow the universe to work its magic. Start small, refine your technique, and keep experimenting. Over time, your ability to manifest through sigils will grow, and you'll witness firsthand how these symbols shape your reality. Ready to unlock the mysteries of your own desires? Begin your journey with sigils, and watch as the universe shifts to meet you.